Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Dr. Vilches. Welcome. Let's wait a couple more minutes to see if some members are joining us, either through phone or Google Meet. We'll wait a couple more minutes for more members to join. We'll give it 2 more minutes. All right, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the annual organizational meeting, notice and agenda for Steinmetz College Prep High School. My name is Dr. Vilches. I'm principal of Steinmetz. I'd like to welcome everyone here. And I'm going to begin the meeting by calling the meeting to order. So I'm going to do roll call. Mr. Davis, I think you're not on mute. Let me mute. Okay. All right. So sorry about that. All right. So I'm going to call Mr. Caputi. Present. Oh, sorry.
Sorry, I'll only do that 15 more times. Yes, I'm here.
Mr. Koss. Ms. Dunn.
Yes, I'm here.
Ms. Hanson. Ms. Lopez.
Good afternoon, everyone. Present.
Ms. Merlos. Ms. Ortiz.
Present.
Mr. Quiles.
Present.
Ms. Rodriguez.
Present.
Mr. Rodriguez.
Present.
And Dr. Vilches, present. So we have eight members present. So we have established quorum. So we can move forward with the selection of temporary chairperson, which would be me. So then any member can be the temporary chairperson.
I nominate Norma Lopez.
Does anyone want to second that motion? We have a nomination for Ms. Lopez to be the temporary chairperson.
I'll second it.
Motion seconded. Roll call vote. Mr. Caputi?
Yes, positive.
Ms. Dunn?
Yes.
Ms. Lopez?
Yes.
Ms. Ortiz?
Yes.
Mr. Quiles?
Yes.
Ms. Rodriguez? Student? She's still in. Ms. Rodriguez? Itzel? Is she here?
It showed she just got disconnected.
Did she leave the meeting? Did she get kicked? Oh, there she is again. Ms. Rodriguez, Itzel?
Yes.
Mr. Rodriguez?
Yes.
And Principal Vilches, yes. I'm so sorry, I forgot to say I will be recording this meeting. Let me hit the record button. I'll try again. Some technical difficulties right now with this computer. Record meeting. Start recording. All right, sorry about that. All right, so now the agenda will move forward with the temporary chairperson. So Ms. Lopez will now continue with the agenda as presented and the notice as presented.
Thank you, Dr. Vilches. So we continue with number 4, selection of temporary secretary. Any nominations?
I nominate Vince Caputi.
I second.
Can I ask, what are the duties of the secretary?
Well, the temporary secretary just takes notes right now until secretary is appointed officially into the agenda.
I can do that. Got my pen.
Thank you. So roll call. Dr. Vilches, can you help us with the roll call?
Yes, I can. Mr. Caputi,
Yes.
Ms. Dunn,
Yes.
Ms. Lopez,
Yes.
Ms. Ortiz,
Yes.
Mr. Quiles,
Yes.
Ms. Ms. Rodriguez,
Yeah.
Mr. Rodriguez,
Yes.
and myself, yes. Motion passed at 3:13 on July 19th.
Thank you. We continue with the next item on the agenda, which is approval of the agenda.
I make a motion to approve the agenda.
Norma, second.
And I'll help out with roll call. Mr. Caputi,
Yes.
Ms. Dunn,
Yes.
Ms. Lopez,
Yes.
Ms. Ortiz,
Yes.
Mr. Quiles,
Yes.
Ms. Rodriguez,
Yes.
Mr. Rodriguez,
Yes.
myself, yes. Motion passed 3:14 July 19th.
Our next item on the agenda is a motion and selection of the chairperson of assignment Salasie.
I make a nomination of Norma Lopez for the chairperson.
I second the motion. I'll help out with roll call. Mr. Caputi,
Yes.
Ms. Dunn,
Yes.
Ms. Lopez,
Yes.
Ms. Ortiz,
Yes.
Mr. Quiles,
Yes.
Ms. Rodriguez, Ms. Itzel Rodriguez,
Yes.
Mr. Rodriguez,
Yes.
myself, yes. Motion passed at 3:15 July 19th.
Thank you. We continue with the next item on the agenda, which is motion and selection of the secretary.
I nominate Mr. Vince.
I second.
I'll help out with roll call vote. Mr. Caputi,
Yes.
Ms. Dunn,
Yes.
Ms. Lopez,
Yes.
Ms. Ortiz,
Yes.
Mr. Quiles,
Yes.
Ms. Rodriguez,
Yes.
Mr. Rodriguez,
Yes.
myself, yes. Motion passed at 3:16 July 19th.
Our next item on the agenda is motion and selection of the vice chair. And I would like to nominate Mr. Quiles.
What's that for? I'm sorry. I wasn't.
Vice chair.
I second that.
Okay, so I'll help with roll call. Mr. Caputi,
Yes.
Ms. Dunn,
Yes.
Ms. Lopez,
Yes.
Ms. Ortiz,
Yes.
Mr. Quiles,
Yes.
Ms. Rodriguez,
Yes.
Mr. Rodriguez,
Yes.
myself, yes. Motion passed at 3:16 p.m. on July 19th.
So our next item on the agenda is to start regular meetings for the next school year.
Is this open for discussion so we can talk about the meetings?
Yes, open for discussion.
Okay. What day did the LSC traditional meet before, or is there a specific day or preference for meetings?
I would prefer Tuesday.
I'm fine with Tuesday. Monday through Thursday. It's fine with me any day. Tuesday is good.
I'm good for Tuesday or Thursday. Oh, sorry, Tuesday or Wednesday. I'm sorry.
Okay,
Oh.
so I'm okay with Tuesday, but I don't know, it could be the second or the third Tuesday of the month.
Oh, Ms. Lopez, before we start talking about the schedule, we missed number 9. We have to go back and make a motion for and selection for FOIA and OMA.
That's true. Thank you for checking that.
And then we'll go back to number 10.
So any nominations?
What does the person do?
Can Ms. Jackson shed some light on this position? I know she's on the call from LSC. Would it be okay?
Yes, please.
Ms. Jackson?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Okay, the OMA/FOIA officer, or one person serving with 2 positions, or 2 positions, 2 individuals serving as the FOIA and the OMA officer. So the FOIA is the Freedom of Information Act officer. That will be the contact that public stakeholders will have to request the public documents that are open to the public at request as it relates to the business of the LSC. Those things are included but not limited to any notices, agendas, minutes, budget that the LSC voted to approve, CIWP, etc. They will have to take a training with the Illinois Attorney General's office. That training is currently down, but they will have to know the ins and out of responding to a FOIA, the deadline for responding to a FOIA, and making that information available to those that request. The OMA officer is the individual that will ensure that the LSC is compliant with the Open Meetings Act. And that is also governed by the Illinois Attorney General's office, and there's a training for that. So the Open Meetings Act, as it relates to quorum, the agenda being posted 48 hours before the meeting, making sure that the agendas are posted on the website, and that all motions and actions that require a vote are motioned and they are carried out with a majority. So it's a very important role. So that
Ms. Jackson, to be clear, we're voting for 2 people, one for FOIA and one for OMA.
It could be one person that acts as a FOIA and the OMA.
Oh.
Or it could be 2 individuals, one as a FOIA, one as an OMA. It's up to the LSC. But traditionally, one person serves as the FOIA and the OMA because they are governed by the Illinois Attorney General's office. And mind you, this position does not have an expiration. The person that's voted as the FOIA and the OMA will be the FOIA/OMA officer until they either resign or no longer an LSC member.
Thank you. Take it away, Madam Chairperson.
Thank you. So we have any nominations?
Uh, how many parents do we have in the meeting? Because I know that there's new parents. I can't recognize names here. Can somebody so I can make a nomination?
We
And
have, oh yeah, I hear the names. So we have Kimberly Hansen, Norma Lopez, Sumer Lowe's. Those are the three parents. And we have 3 vacancies. So currently, Ms. Lopez now serves as the chairperson. So we have Kimberly Hansen and Sumer Lowe's.
is Tara one of them?
No, Ms. Dunn is the teacher.
Tara, okay.
Can I nominate Sue Merlos?
Is that person in attendance to accept the nomination?
She's not. So she has to be here.
Yeah, it has to be present.
What about Miss Hanson?
She's not present either.
Who is present that is the parent?
Just Ms. Lopez.
Okay. Could we table this for our next meeting?
Ms. Jackson, can we table until the next meeting?
If the LSC agrees to table it to the next meeting, yes, you can.
So I make a motion to table the FOIA and the old
Let's get the hell out of here.
open position for the next LSC meeting. Could
Norma,
somebody?
second.
Okay.
And I'll help with roll call vote.
Open for discussion. I guess
Open for
there's-
discussion? Yes, roll call, Ms. Dr. Vilches, please.
Mr. Caputi,
Yes.
Ms. Dunn,
Yes.
Ms. Lopez,
Yes.
Ms. Ortiz,
Yes.
Mr. Quiles,
Yes.
Ms. Rodriguez,
Yes.
Mr. Rodriguez,
Yes.
and myself, yes. Motion passed at 3:25, July 19th.
Thank you. So we go back with item number 10, which is to determine the dates and time we're going to meet. So I assume we can continue discussing the date.
So far, we had Tuesday as a preferred day, and it worked for several members. Do we have an agreement that Tuesday works for all members? It's so
Yes.
students, are you okay with Tuesday?
I'm okay with Tuesdays. Yeah, I'm okay with Tuesdays too.
Okay, Tuesdays. Is there a time preference?
Are we still okay with 5, or you guys want to move it up earlier?
2:57.
I would say 5.
Okay.
Because as you see earlier, people don't either forget or don't show up. I would make it at 5. That gives everybody a chance to either get home or if they're in school, they could just attend there.
Five works for me.
Oh, 5 works for me too.
So could we make a motion to have our meetings the second Tuesday of each month at 5 o'clock.
I second. Roll call, please.
All right, Mr. Caputi,
Yes.
Ms. Dunn,
Yes.
Ms. Lopez,
Yes.
Ms. Ortiz,
Yes.
Mr. Quiles,
Yes.
Ms. Rodriguez,
Yes.
Mr. Rodriguez,
Yes.
myself, yes. Motion passed at 3:28 on July 19th.
Is this the second or third Tuesday of every month? Is it monthly?
The second.
Second. Gotcha.
Ms. Jackson, is this where we discuss if it could be virtual or is it automatically virtual, if I can ask? Or do we have to make a motion for that too?
Okay, so with the Open Meetings Act, potentially all meetings are in person, based on the open meetings. But now that we are in the disaster proclamation with the governor, that is something you all could discuss to continue virtual until the disaster proclamation is removed, go back to in person, or continue with the hybrid model that you all have created until the LSCs are back in person. Does it make sense?
So we have to make a motion or open it for discussion?
So you could open it up for discussion for that, and recommendation is probably set the model for, and it's just a recommendation, set the model for probably the first 3 meetings, and then set the and then come back and do the locations once we figure out, where we are with the pandemic and all, the viruses that are,
So what was the hybrid model that the LSCs was?
So the hybrid model was virtual and in person. That is where those members that want, that you will have the in-person format and the virtual. Because if you go to in-person and you had members that were not comfortable with attending in person, you would have to have a quorum that was in place in person, and your bylaws will have to state how you will allow members to attend virtually. So the hybrid model allow LSCs to have both virtual and in person.
Thank you.
Okay, so open for discussion.
So you said that we could go with the first 3 meetings up to then and then revisit it after that, Ms. Jackson?
That's just a recommendation, because
Okay.
if the disaster proclamations are in, if the governor does not extend it, all open boards will go into in-person meeting just automatically.
Do we want to keep it virtual for 3 meetings and then revisit the decision to see where the status is?
Or hybrid? Hybrid covers all bases, right?
Yep.
So why don't we
So-
do that?
Yes.
So
Yeah,
let's
first
let's
three.
make a motion to approve the meetings as hybrid, and then we'll take it from there. Somebody has to second the motion.
I second.
I second it.
Here, I'm going to put you.
Roll call, please.
I have Mr. Coase here, so I'm gonna do a slightly hybrid model on a computer. No, you can be over here. Can you guys see us? Sorry. That's Mr. Coase. All right, so I'm gonna do the roll call vote with the motion for presented. Mr. Caputi,
Yes, hybrid.
Mr. Coase.
Present.
Oh no, yes or no?
Yes.
Ms. Dunn,
Yes.
Ms. Lopez,
Yes.
Ms. Ortiz,
Yes.
Mr. Quiles,
Yes.
Ms. Rodriguez,
Yes.
Mr. Rodriguez,
Yes.
and myself, yes. Motion passed at 3:33, July 19th.
Our next item in the agenda is a double readopt our bylaws. Do you have them to read them, Dr. Belches?
No, I don't know if any of the previous LSC members have them. I know it was Robert's rules and the 2 minutes for public participation. Mr. Quiles raised his hand.
Go ahead, Mr. Quiles.
Yes, because I think that's something we need to look into it more, a little bit more of the bylaws. Could we also table this for our next meeting?
I would like to do that as well.
I agree. How does one get a copy of the bylaws
They should be in the school
in the school? Okay.
somewhere.
We could reach out to the previous secretary. They might have them on file somewhere.
Some undisclosed location. Okay.
So we work on that for our next meeting.
Is
So
this
I present-
something that is for all, there's recommendations from CPS for bylaws, or do we just completely make our own?
We can review what we have in the school first, and after that, we can all sit down together and we decide whether we keep all of them or we add extra that we consider could work better for our LLC and our school.
So I make a motion to table the bylaws until our next meeting.
Oh, I think Ms. Jackson raised her hand. Is it-
Yes, Norma second. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Ms. Jackson.
Yes, Ms. Jackson, go ahead.
No, go ahead with the vote. It was motion to second. After you all approve it, then.
Yes,
Go ahead.
yes.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll help with roll call vote. Mr. Caputi,
Yes.
Mr. Coase,
Yes.
Ms. Dunn,
Yes.
Ms. Lopez,
Yes.
Ms. Ortiz,
Yes.
Mr. Quiles,
Yes.
Ms. Rodriguez,
Yes.
Mr. Rodriguez,
Yes.
myself, yes. Motion passed at 3:36, July 19th.
Go ahead, Ms. Jackson.
I just want to remind the LSC that once you adopt or readopt your bylaws, if they were not previously approved by the law department, or you create new bylaws, make sure after you vote on your bylaws or before you vote on your bylaws, email me a copy so I can run it up to the law department for approval.
Thank you for your support.
I was just gonna ask Ms. Jackson, but if we keep the same bylaws from last year, then it wouldn't have to be run up to legal. We just have to send them to you.
Let's see, discuss bylaws, but they never voted on approving bylaws. So I believe the ones that they created, I am sure that the bylaws that they created with the previous secretary and the chair was looked over by the law department, the representative from the law department, and approved. So if you adopt the bylaws that were discussed last term, they're already approved. If you make changes or if you decide to create different bylaws, then you will have to get the approval.
Thank you for the advice. So our next item in the agenda is adopt and re-adopt the rules of order for the LSC meetings, which, as Ms. Vilch has mentioned, is the Robert Rules of Order. So that's the way we are running this meeting today.
I make a motion to adopt the Robert's Rules of Order, the ones that are being used today.
And Norma, second,
I'll help with roll call vote.
please.
Mr. Caputi,
Yes.
Mr. Cost,
Yes.
Ms. Dunn,
Yes.
Ms. Hanson. Oh, sorry, Ms. Lopez,
Yes.
Ms. Ortiz,
Yes.
Mr. Quiles,
Aye.
Ms. Rodriguez, Ms. Rodriguez, Mr. Rodriguez,
Yes.
Myself, yes, 8 yes, 1 abstain or no response. Motion passed at 3:39 July 19th.
Next item in the agenda is announce the date of the first regular meeting. Do you have a calendar, Dr. Butches?
It is August 9th, 2022 at 5 p.m. That is the second Tuesday of the month.
Thank you. So that date is gonna be our first LSC meeting. Next item in the agenda is a motion for a special meeting.
Mr. Cole said he seconded. I'll help with roll call vote. Mr. Caputi?
Wait, what are we voting on? A motion
Oh,
for
sorry,
a
motion for a special meeting. Do we have, Ms. Jackson, do we get it announced the day before we make a motion?
So what would, I'm going to ask the LSC, what would be the special meeting for?
right.
For anything related to budget approvals and opening of school?
Do you anticipate needing a special call meeting?
Yes, because there's certain things that have to be approved through the LSC.
Okay, so maybe you all should you can discuss it and create a date and the purpose
Okay.
and agree upon a date. Now, this is like you all will come together and agree upon a date for the special call meeting.
So the special call meeting is going to happen before August 9th?
Yeah, we need to, I didn't know that we were going to have that meeting earlier. So I think I'm okay with August 9th and presenting any needs for LSC approval for things that are going to be needed to reopen the school. Any transfers of funds or anything that requires LSC approval could wait till August 9th.
I will suggest that, which is gonna be the first meeting, and it's gonna be like 2 weeks before or prior to the school year, and we have time to review whatever the school needs to review before we start the school year.
So the special meeting, Ms. Vilches, I don't know you can go into more detail. Is it just budget related stuff? Is it?
Yeah, it's like budget, some things that need to be cleared up, some things that need to require LSC approval related to opening of school, and just now that the budget was released.
Okay, so
But
it's
it
all
could wait till,
budget.
yeah, but it could wait till August 9th because we have an earlier meeting date. So it's not like the end of August. So that's still, it's fine. I should be able to get everything prepared for August 9th. So I don't need the special meeting if we are having our first meeting August 9th.
Okay. That sounds good. And how does the agenda get made for August 9th? Who makes the agenda? Who decides what goes on it?
Ms. Jackson, can you help out with that question?
That is the duties and responsibilities of the chairperson. Those things that the LSC will like to discuss and put on the agenda, you will reach out to your chairperson. Most of the regular call meetings have a standard agenda, with the exception of those items that are action items.
And I'm sorry, is Ms. Vilches, are you our chairperson, Ms. Vilches?
No, it's Ms. Lopez,
Who's our vice chair?
Mr. Quiles.
Ah, sorry. My note taking has fallen down. My secretarial skills. Thank you. Well, I don't know if anyone would want to do this. Would we want to talk about what goes on to the agenda for the next meeting? Is it just budget, or is there any other pressing?
I can answer that. We have a previous agenda for the past meetings. We can continue using that. At least there is an extra item that Ms. Vicious needs to review with the LLC. We can just add it in a monthly basis, obviously. Month to month can be added, staff under new business, or we can review staff from old business. But more details of how the LLC runs, you guys will have those answers once you start getting the trainings, which can be done online.
Ah.
Yes.
So can we wait to set what the agenda is going to be weekly until we get the training, just in case they make suggestions to us?
Well,
The agenda is already made. So maybe we can send you an agenda. You can see it and have like an idea how the agenda used to look like.
Okay.
To guide you in the process and to help you to don't feel like you don't know what is happening. I mean, it's a process that is already established, and we can just, guide ourselves as a team through the process smoothly. So don't be worried about it. The trainings will help you as well. Mr. Quiles, go ahead.
yes, so far we have two things coming up in our agenda, which is the FOIA and the bylaws.
So it sounds like we got the FOIA, the bylaws, budgetary concerns. So that would be great, Ms. Lopez, if you have our email. I don't know how that works. If you can forward what sounds like a generic agenda that you guys have used in the past. So we have, some of us new people have a sense. Trainings. I don't know if this is something Ms. Jackson. I'm sorry, I'm new. Is there any, thank you. As far as the trainings, how do we find out where those are? How we sign up for them? What it is? Is it BYOB? Oh, excellent.
So yeah, so you will have all that information in that website, and that will guide you through the trainings. You don't need to take all of them the same day. It takes time. but the basics, like the roles and stuff like that, you will find all that information there, and you can go back and review the information whenever you feel comfortable, and you have time to go through it until we can just practice, but it's mostly practice.
Gotcha. And again, we're all getting you, if we'll have to check out these old agendas and trainings, but if somebody in the meantime has something they want to address or add onto the agenda, can we do that? A student, for instance, or a teacher, or anyone, can anyone right now propose things for the agenda coming up? Can anyone in attendance right now propose some items for future agendas or for soon? Ms. Vilches proposed budgetary stuff. Is it open to anyone proposing other things they feel is of pressing concern?
Well, the other thing that we have to keep in mind is that sometimes if somebody, a member of the council, has something that would like to be in the agenda, and once the agenda is presented at the meeting, we could adopt whatever else is needed to be adopted once it's approved by the council.
But I think what Mr. Caputi is asking is if a teacher had already expressed that they'd like something addressed, could we bring that forward in the meeting now so that it can be addressed? I'm not sure that's what you're saying, Mr. Caputi, or a student?
Yeah, right. I find myself falling into LSC talk. So basically, if there's something I or anyone wants to talk about next meeting, can we propose it right now?
Well, that comes in the reports of the teachers. If there's any report that the teachers would like to address with the representative of teachers, that could come up on your report.
I'm not clear about what that means. I'm sorry. The report.
Yes. So let me explain a little bit. I mean, in the agenda, besides new business, old business, we have other items, which is like a report from teachers, whatever teachers bring to the whoever is representing teachers can bring over to the table to the entire LSC. And that's the same thing in the case of the students. So we have 2 students in the LSC. Those students can bring whatever other students ask them to bring to the entire LSC in our regular meetings. For that reason, we should have 6 parents rep, I think 2 teachers, 1 non-staff, and 2 students, because that way we are all representing the entire school community and its school needs. And that is already established in the agenda, which is roll call, established quorum, and vote the agenda, as Mr. Quiles tried to explain. At the time we're gonna vote the agenda, if something arises in the same date or last meeting, can be added to the agenda. And we can run business adding whatever is coming extra in the agenda that day. But we have to vote, we have to discuss, we have to vote, and we have to approve those changes before we go to the entire agenda. Once we approve the agenda, we cannot make changes. So for that reason, Mr. Aquiles tried to explain that part. So far we are okay. We are establishing what we need to get first to start running business for the entire school year. So should we continue with the agenda then? Okay, so we go to the next item in the agenda, which is number 15, public participation. Do we have any public participation? Okay, so we don't have any public participation. Anyone wants to use the floor to say anything right now?
Yeah, I have, I got this in the mail, the 2022 Statement of Economic Interest. We all have to fill it out as LSC members. They're in my office, so they'll be available for pickup. You just need to pick it up and fill it out and then turn it back in. It's the Statement of Economic Interest for LSC members. So I have them here for you, if for you to pick up. Students, you can come by as well and just pick this up. That's all I have.
Do we have anything else?
Yeah, I'm gonna jump in here. And again, I appreciate your patience because this is my first time at this. It's going to take me a little while to adjust. So I understand now, especially as teacher reps, myself and Ms. Dunn, Mr. Rodriguez, it sounds like the general way things work is we kind of stay in communication with teachers, and as things come up, we can propose to have them put onto agenda, and then the agenda has to be approved and so on and so forth. So I just want to throw something out there for everybody, plant the seed. I can't speak for Ms. Dunn, but a big part of my becoming involved in this LSC is based on teacher concerns from last year that I think teachers for sure, I didn't talk to all 80 of them, but at least half of them. Going into the next school year, the budget obviously is important, but there's been other issues going into the next school year in terms of some organization, some attendance related issues, and just some basic school protocols that many teachers are concerned have lapsed or are not working as well as they could. And many teachers, I don't know if Ms. Dunn agrees with me on this, many teachers were hoping going into the next school year that we might be able to address some things rather than, and I get the process of proposing things for agendas and then confirming them and coming back to them. I think some people might be a little concerned that that would take so long that some of the pressing concerns for the school, we were hoping to at least start to address or plant the seeds or strategize about going into next school year. I'm sorry if I rambled there. So I guess what I was hoping to do was propose some issues for the next meeting in anticipation of the school year, much like Ms. Vilches did with the budget.
I think for some clarity, Mr. Caputi, the teacher reps have to work through the PPLC in order for the items to be brought up. So you have to consult with the PPLC so that you have, I believe it's through the PPLC. So I think we'll learn that in our LSC training. The teacher reps work in tandem with the PPLC with any specific concerns, and the PPC if there is a standing PPC.
Oh, okay. That's fine. Again, I'll do the trainings and I'll have to learn about it, but I do want to throw out there, and I get there's that process, but I think, just as human beings, independent of whatever organizations we're part of, there's just been some current concern going into the next school year that certain just sort of protocols and infrastructure that should be in place perhaps isn't, in terms of just basic school decorum and rules. And a lot of teachers were hoping that might be at least talked about, because as we know, especially dealing with teenagers, it's good to start fresh and consistently with things. But it sounds like I have to wait till the school year starts, talk to teachers then, and then talk to the PPLC at that time. And I think some teachers are concerned that the issues I have in mind would be a little hard to address a third of the way into the school year. Mr. Keelis, I'm sorry, did you have a...
Yes, I would like to add to that in the 30 years serving as consul, I never have heard that the teachers were stopped from coming and participating or talking in the space of public participation. There is a public participation that teachers are welcome. I mean, not only teachers, but the whole community is welcome to come in and speak, and we could hear them out. I mean, the concerns, I mean, that we might not have the answers to them, but we could hear their concerns at all times. So they have 2 minutes to address their issues. And, you know, that way, sometimes it's not throwing all at the teacher rep, but it's also a time where they could express themselves as teachers, and if they have any concerns or ideas for us to move forward as a group and as a community.
So if they bring their concerns to us, again, I'm new to this too, and I'm a little bit confused. They could bring it to us and we would bring it up in the teacher's report and discuss then. Because I think a lot of the teachers feel like they'd like to use Mr. Caputi and myself as their liaison to the LSC about those issues that Mr. Caputi was talking about. So are we suggesting that the PPLC and the PPC bring these issues forward? I'm a little bit confused because we're the reps, and there's a teacher report, and then there's the PPLC and the PPC. So I think Mr. Caputi and I are just confused as to, or unfamiliar with, how we get this on the agenda so that the LSC can plan the appropriate time to deal with the issues. And if they bring it up during the 2 minutes, will we have adequate time to address those issues?
Not necessarily, because sometimes during that time, we probably don't have the correct answer. Sometimes the issues are not necessary for the LSC, but for the principal. So there's certain things that sometimes we cannot go ahead and open conversation about, okay, they don't have these books. We could sit down as LSC and discuss why are these books not there, because they were approved under the budget that we approved. So, I mean, those are issues that we discuss to make sure that the school moves forward. It is good to hear, that the teachers are not getting the right tools, because the idea of us is for the teachers to have the tools to move forward our students. And I think it's very important that we hear the teachers and their concerns.
And you can always ask Master Sergeant as well, because he can walk you through how the teacher rep piece on how to prepare the teacher report and how to engage the different, the PPC and PPLC. He has all of the Robert's Rules of Order, and he really knows. So a suggestion would be to touch base with Master Sergeant to see how he engaged with the PPLC and make sure, because he followed all of the specific rules of order when it came to the Open Meetings Act and making sure that the report was created. It's just a suggestion.
Was he the staff rep?
Yes, he was the staff rep with Ms. Russo.
Okay, cool.
So he would be the best one. Him and Ms. Russo can give you all of the necessary things to help you prepare your teacher report and how you work in collaboration with the PPLC and if needed the PPC, and how to present that in the Open Meetings Act.
The PPLC, what's that stand for?
I don't know if it's still Professional Practice Learning Committee or Professional, I think it's Professional Practice Learning Committee, I believe. I'm not sure if they changed that acronym.
And that's the committee that meets with the principal to Work on what?
Everything related to instruction,
Everything related to instruction.
learning, teaching and learning.
How about general school policy as regards attendance, tardies, grading and discipline? Who handles that?
The CPS Student Code of Conduct. So a lot of that is determined by central office and is outlined in the Students' Rights and Responsibility Handbook. So schools are required to follow the Student Code of Conduct when it comes to any type of infraction related to attendance, discipline. Now, how it's socialized at the school level in terms of formality, but everything falls under the guidance of CPS and following the policies that are created by them. In terms of instructional minutes, making sure teachers submit attendance. If a student is late, they are not supposed to be denied access to instruction. We are required to walk them into the class. So all of that is really determined by ISB, CPS, and we just really implement those practices. Now, at the school level, what we manage is like the different forms that we may use to communicate between support offices and staff, or making sure that that flow of communication is clear and transparent. But ultimately, the policies in terms of how students are disciplined or what can or cannot be done regarding attendance is established by ISB and CPS and the CPS board.
And all schools are required to follow those procedures?
Yes, that is published on the school. If you go to the Students' Rights and Responsibility Handbook, yes.
So, for example, if a teacher wanted to know what is the CPS attendance policy in terms of a class, if I'm a teacher of a class and I'm required to enter attendance every day, if I want to know, hypothetically, if there's a certain number past which a student is supposed to fail, if there's required minutes, FaceTime minutes in class, that kind of stuff, where would I find that policy exactly?
The CPS Student Attendance page.
In the Code of Conduct?
No, there's CPS has a website for attendance with all of the board policies. Everything is made public. So if you look at the CPS website and then you have access to the CPS staff website that also has the staff links, but it's made public. This is all transparent information on the CPS school website.
Right. So if I go to that website, I can find what the
all
CPS...
of the, yes.
Right. And then if we were interested in discussing how that was implemented at Steinmetz specifically, is that something we would do here at the LSC?
I believe you would engage your PPC. I'm not sure if Ms. Jackson is on there to describe the differences on the team. I know that when it comes to teaching and learning, it's the PPLC. I believe it would be the PPC.
Madam Chair, can I have the floor?
Yes. Sorry, I'm the chair.
That's okay. Yes, go ahead, Ms. Jackson.
So as it relates to the roles and responsibilities of the LSC, we cannot confuse the authorities of the LSC with the management of schools within the district. The district has created board rules and policies, which Dr. Velchez said that you can go and download all of the board rules and policies that have been adopted that manages every school within the district. The LSC roles and responsibilities are in relates to the approval and the discussion of the CIWP, which is, I forget the acronym, but it's, my tongue is tied, the Continuous Improvement Work Plan, which as relates to the overall instruction and the operation of the learning arm of the school. They approve and discuss and partner with the principal as it relates to the budget, which includes the approval of contracts on the school level and the approval of the internal accounts. The LSC evaluates yearly the contract principal and makes the decision to renew contracts. That is the purview of the LSC and is not limited to school fees, uniform, things of that nature, and the discussion of discipline. As it relates to things with teachers, With the LSC, the only committee that has a standing arm on the LSC's agenda is the PPLC, which is the Professional Practice Learning Committee as it relates to the CIWP. Those other issues that are school related, which is under the purview of your principal, is to be discussed in the PPC. The LSC evaluates the principal on how they run the school. They do not manage the operation of the school. That is the arm of the principal and within the board policies of the district. Does that give you a general? And then you can
You've
download
said that
the
before.
resource
You've said that
guide.
before, haven't you?
Huh?
You've said that before, haven't you?
For the last 8 years, I have. So chapter 1 of that resource guide should give you a basic of what those roles and responsibilities are.
All right. Sounds good. It sounds like I have some research to do as far as the training, getting familiar with things. But I want to, and I'm sorry to monopolize. I'm not trying to take people's time, but I'll say one last thing. To the extent, no matter what organization we're part of, and I got to learn the rules of how these acronyms interact with each other and affect various things. And we got a whole new slate going forward with administration and other things. And I think Ms. Dunn feels the same way, and some other people. But after COVID at the end of last year, there was just generally a lot of frustration with the lack of rules, basically general protocols, policy as an institution. As a diverse learner's teacher, I got a special view of students at less than half attendance consistently, tens of students in hallways at all times during classes, students passing with C's with 50 absences, and a lot of teachers, after 15 years, a bunch of teachers asked me to get involved, especially with the new administration. And so whether it's the purview of this LSC or some combination of groups that start with P in combination with the LSC, that's kind of this sort of simmering concern around the building, and not just for the comfort of teachers, but it seemed to be detrimental to the education of students and the general comfort of students, this sort of lacks. Now I got to look up the CPS policies as regards some of these things, and perhaps it gives us some guidance. And I don't know if the disconnect is in the policy or the implementation of the policy for attendance and tardies. But after COVID, and it was a very strange time, things became fairly unmanageable by the end of next year. And that's why I thought it was kind of pressing going into this next school year. We have a great opportunity to make some work together and make some solid improvements for the sake of students, comfort, consistency, their well-being, not to mention teachers' comfort. So that's sort of the what I've been dancing around here. So I've got some homework in terms of who handles what and how, but I kind of wanted to throw that out there to the students involved and the parents and teachers involved, that this is what most teachers that I've talked to find a serious concern with the general sort of operation of the institution we know as Steinmetz. So that's what I'm trying to figure out. So I'll look into CPS policy as regards some of these things, and talk to teachers, figure out how to do teacher reports, and try to connect with some of these, what do we got here, PPC, PPLC, and work together. But that is sort of the shell that seems to be cracked as far as STIMUS goes before we get to things like lesson plans and even, even special ed, which I'm a part of. So anyways, thanks for your patience. I'm throwing that out there.
And no, just to add to that, all staff were sent a survey. That's a great place for you to capture what's working and what isn't working. So that survey was sent out to all staff. And I also sent out a survey to all students. And so we're reading the responses, we're taking in the feedback. So if you haven't filled out the survey, that would be a great place for you to share a lot of these concerns. Another place that you can revisit these concerns, if the PPLC followed the expectations for what the PPLC, if attendance and diverse learners was an issue, there would be meetings and minutes related to that you could revisit. Now, if there are no meetings or minutes or related to that, then it wasn't an issue last year. So you can, all of that is documented as part of the Open Meetings Act. So the PPLC is a great place to start to see what those agendas, and if there are no agenda or minutes, so that it wasn't a related issue as relates to staff. And in regards to policy and procedures, all CPS staff will be receiving their Safe Schools training that comes centrally from CPS, where it outlines all of these procedural safeguards with regards to attendance, diverse learners, Title IX, Office of Student Protection. So just to give some context to the LSC, all teachers are required to complete CPS mandatory training, which provides all of these board policies and very clear procedural safeguards for what we can and cannot do at this school. So all teachers are going to be receiving a memo, but it's not sent from the principal. The memo is sent straight from CPS as required trainings that must be completed as a CPS employee that provides all of these policies and procedural safeguards as relates to our priority groups, ELs, DLs, attendance, instructional minutes, grading practices, and anything that CPS deems important and appropriate for us to know as part of our responsibilities.
Thank you.
So our last item in the agenda is the adjournment. So I would like to present a motion to adjourn this meeting at 4:14 p.m.
I second.
I'll help with roll call vote. Mr.
Thank
Caputi?
you.
Yes.
Mr. Koss?
Yes.
Ms. Dunn?
Yes.
Ms. Lopez?
Yes.
Ms. Ortiz?
Yes.
Mr. Quiles?
Yes.
Ms. Rodriguez?
Yes.
Mr. Rodriguez?
Yes.
Myself, yes. Motion passed at 4:15, July 19th.
Thank you. So our first regular LSC meeting of Steinmetz College Prep is going to take place on August the 19th. No, the 9th at 5 p.m. Have a good day. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.